The 1997 FIA World Rally Championship. Monte Carlo. Sweden. Kenya. Portugal. Spain. Corsica. Argentina. Greece. New Zealand. Finland. Indonesia. Italy. Australia. And Great Britain. Rallying's traditionally been dominated by the Finns, and 1996 was no exception. The World Championship decided on the Rally Australia, with won for the first time by Tommi Mäkinen.
Well done, well done.
Mäkinen then the latest in a long line of Finns to excel at the sport. For 1997, Mitsubishi had a brand new Group A car, the Lancer Evolution 4, for Mäkinen and co-driver Seppo Harjanne.
Three main things are the biggest difference. Rear suspension and gearbox and engine is a bit different.
Tommy had two teammates during the year. Richard Burns drove another Lancer Evo 4 on selected events, although for marketing reasons it was badged as a Charisma GT. On the other rallies, Uwe Nittel drove the second car, an older Evolution 3 Lancer, entered by the German Rally Art team. Runner-up in 1996 was Colin McRae, another new car for the 1997 season, but his was one of the new breed, a Subaru Impreza built to the new World Rally Car regulations.
Yeah, it's good to have a change. The old Group A car was getting a bit long in the tooth, and it looks very spectacular as well, sounds different, obviously the performance is a bit better, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Not only a new car for McRae, but a new colleague as well.
He's a very easygoing sort of person, and the practice has gone well, our testing has gone well, and I really am looking forward to it.
Sweden's Kenneth Eriksson, seen here with team boss David Richards, would drive the second car on gravel events during the year, with the all-tarmac rallies being contested by Italy's Piero Liati. The team's goal was clear, both world titles. The other manufacturer tackling both series was Ford, who had an almost all-new lineup. A new boss, Malcolm Wilson, a new team, M Sport, and a new car, the Escort World Rally Car. The team leader, however, was still Carlos Sainz.
What would be a good season for you?
Win. As simple as that.
Sainz's partner was the 1996 European champion, Armin Schwartz. Besides the new cars, 1997 had a new feel too. After 3 years of event rotation, all 14 rounds would count. So arriving in the south of France for round one, everyone knew it would be a long season. The Monte Carlo rally is perhaps the most famous event in the series. Heavy rain greeted the championship contenders as the first special stage of the year got underway around the streets of Monaco. But it's the stages in the mountains north of the Principality which make up the bulk of the rally. Sainz and his co-driver Lewis Moyer had a superb start, taking the lead after the first mountain stage. Mäkinen wasn't so happy. The icy roads meant that he and Seppo Harjanne were slipping and sliding all over the place.
Vasen oikein eri aukee.
Tyre choice, it seemed, had been a factor in Sainz's lead.
Well, I went with one tire which is rain tire, no studs. Tommy went with studs, and at the end of the two stages is 2 seconds different. So obviously it was very, very close, one decision to the other.
His teammate obviously wasn't on the same tyres. Schwartz had the dubious honour of being the first driver to dink a World Rally car when that happened on stage 2.
Oh, it was not bad. We just came out of the trucks in the slush snow and we hit the wall. And it was quite gnarly, so we have to go backward and forward all the time just to get the car in the right direction, and we lost quite some time.
The Monte Carlo rally isn't one of Colin McRae's favourites, and he wasn't enjoying the conditions. In the other Subaru, Piero Liati was a lot happier, and he had a far better day than his team leader. Freddie Loix from Belgium was quickest around the stage in Monaco itself, but the Toyota driver soon found that the mountain roads were a different matter. Loix and Sven Smits dropped to 8th as a result of that spin. Uwe Nittel began cautiously, getting used to his new Group A car after finishing second in the Group N championship in '96. Didier Auriol is a Monte Carlo veteran, but his privately entered Escort ended the day in 7th place. Schwartz in the works car was 6th, cursing the accident on stage 2. 5th placed McRae's miserable day, though, was continuing. Visibility, it seemed, was one of his concerns.
6 right minus, tightens. 100. Can you put the heater on? 4 right and 4 right.
The car's very, very difficult to drive. Transmission's not working properly. And we've got a problem with the windscreen steaming up all the time, so it's not much fun.
As day turned to night, Loix was 4th. Liati was 3rd, but the leading pair were just 3 seconds apart. Mäkinen was the driver in 2nd place. But the rally leader was Carlos Sainz.
Para izquierda rápida menos, derecha izquierda buena más en quintas de tierra, para uno, buena más en quintas de tierra, izquierda, para uno, derecha que corta, para izquierda caletas de tierra.
Day 2 and damp tarmac had replaced the snow. Sainz found himself under attack and lost the lead on the day's first stage. It was Mäkinen who'd set the fastest time on the stage, and he led the rally for the first time. Liati wasn't being left behind, however, and he set the fastest time on the day's 3rd stage. For McRae, though, that second morning saw the end of his rally on an icy corner.
The problem is, when you're in the racing tyres, if you go slightly offline at all, you just get pulled in with the snow, and that's what happened. Unfortunately, there was a tree just on the edge of the road, and it broke the rear suspension.
McRae's wasn't the only accident. Freddie Loix damaged his Toyota Celica when he left the road, but at least he managed to keep going.
What's happened? Okay, I went off of the road on the stage before, and I damaged a little bit the car. I lose 22 minutes.
Didier Auriol wasn't so lucky. Transmission failure meant that the Frenchman joined McRae on the retirements list, although we'd see a lot more of Auriol later in the year. Schwartz also suffered from transmission problems. He and Denis Giraudet lost 3rd gear, but kept going.
Right 4 sharp, no cut, 100 caution, right 3 to 4 sharp into F3. Right 3 to 4 sharp into F3.
They were in 4th place at the end of leg 2. Problems for Sainz, meanwhile, had dropped him to 3rd.
Corta, para izquierda buena posible tercera, sucias de tierra, frenando, para derecha buena menos, sucias de tierra poco, para izquierda buena, para derecha buena más ojo, para izquierda rápido ojo ras.
Yeah, we have problem with the engine. It was misfiring practically all the way through, and well, it was not running well.
Piero Liati and Fabrizio Pons had had a superb day. They were now 2nd.
Per destra 3 meno lunga, in sinistra 3 meno lunga, 30, destra 3 più, per destra.
As they tackled the final few stages of the day, their thoughts were already turning to the first stage of the 3rd leg, the longest of the rally.
The first special stage is terrible. 37 kilometers is very difficult, but okay, full attack.
The final stage of leg 2, and the rally leader was now Tommy Mäkinen.
last one was going very well. I was pushing as hard as possible, and it was very, very good.
And so to the final day. Heavy rain greeted the crews as they arrived at that long first stage, whose name is enough to send shivers down the spine. Sisteron. The stage would prove decisive. Mäkinen chose the wrong tyres and dropped from first to third in just that one stage. Liati flew through the stage and grabbed the lead for the first time. Sainz was also faster than Mäkinen and moved up into second place. Behind the top three, Denmark's Henrik Lundgaard finished in sixth place. Uwe Nittel and his co-driver Tina Turner were fifth, delighted with their performance in an unfamiliar car. Schwartz finished fourth.
Right four of a bump into the 5 sharp and again right 4 sharp, 60 double caution, speed continue, right freedom.
But what of the top three?
Oikein plus sumppuun ja vasen täys. Oi.
That incident effectively ended Mäkinen's challenge for victory. Sainz was then left chasing Liati over the rally's final few stages.
Derecha buena se tira un poco y ras. Sassar, para izquierda buena más ojo corta, a fondo se ve por dentro fin, para derecha rápido ojo corta, a fondo.
But Liati could almost taste victory, and he wouldn't be caught. Only the final stage remained, another blast around the streets of Monaco, and Sainz and Mäkinen were beaten. Liati took his first win on a World Championship event, an immensely popular victory.
This moment for me is very, very, very fantastic.
Piero Liati and Fabrizio Pons, the first winners of 1997. Their winning margin 55 seconds, with Sainz, Mäkinen, Schwartz, Nittel and Lundgaard rounding off the top 5 places. Points are now awarded Formula 1 style from first to sixth places, so this was how the drivers' table looked after round 1. Despite only one Subaru making it to the finish, they took a 1-point lead in the Manufacturers' Championship. And so to the very north of Europe for round 2, the international Swedish rally. Mild weather in the weeks before the rally meant there was very little snow. It was, though, cold enough to run the opening spectator stage around the frozen canals in the centre of Karlstad, the host city. It was pretty cold in the forests too. Sweden's Thomas Rodstrom led the rally after stage 2. Sainz was joint fastest on the next stage, so took the lead for the first time. Mäkinen won the rally last year, so started as favourite. He was quickly up to second place. Colin McRae and Nicky Grist, meanwhile, were in fourth place at the end of the morning. Kenneth Eriksson's won the event twice, and he led after stage 4, taking the lead from Sainz. Armin Schwartz and Denis Giraudet began badly, thumping a rock on stage 2. But tyres were the main worry at Ford.
Well, it's always discussion about tyres. You have to decide which type of tyre, which type of starts. Usually, before it's special stage, it's always the same discussion.
Halfway through the day, Thomas Rodstrom gave us one of the strangest pace note instructions of the year.
Open and tightens with house.
House? What house? Ah, that house. On the longest stage of the day, 44 kilometres, Mäkinen could only manage 6th fastest. Arriving at the service area, Mäkinen wasn't happy.
I suppose we didn't have quite correct tyre. We lost plenty of spikes, and we lost also more than half a minute for Subaru.
Sainz didn't suffer as much as Mäkinen through that long stage, but even he wasn't the fastest.
went with a little bit too long start and we lost some time, so we tried a different tire and it was not so good.
The honour of setting that fastest time on the stage went to Colin McRae.
It felt very good, but the last maybe 10 kilometres we lost all the studs, so maybe Tommy lost the studs before we did.
But his tyres were even worse than yours.
Yeah, I'm sure it must have been to be that big a difference.
But it quickly became obvious who was the crowd's favourite. Not McRae, but his teammate. At the end of leg one, Kenneth led the rally from McRae by 7 seconds.
He was aiming to be fighting for the lead, and of course it's not much, it's 7 seconds to Colin, but I'm very happy with my result today.
Early morning on day 2, and a rude awakening for Mitsubishi.
The selection mechanism for the gearbox had some small fault in it, and we couldn't select any gears.
At the moment it's all right, and we can continue, but unfortunately 1 minute 20 seconds is a very long time.
The rally leader, Kenneth Eriksson, meanwhile, was coming under pressure from his teammate.
40, höger 3 minus.
Colin McRae began the day in second place, but set the fastest time on stage 12 and took the lead for the first time.
With this much rain and the high temperature, I don't know how long the ice will last, but it's certainly very soft now, which is making tyre choice difficult again.
But the Subarus weren't having it all their own way. Sainz set or shared fastest time on 3 of the first 4 stages.
Para derecha buena en tercera. Para izquierda buena en tercera, le tira poco.
His teammate Armin Schwartz, though, wasn't going so well. Again. Thomas Rodstrom was caught and passed by Mäkinen during the morning, and he dropped to 5th as a result. Mäkinen was on a charge. He and Seppo Harjanne moving up to 4th place.
Oikein miinus kiristyy. Kova se plus ja oikein.
But with all those penalties, surely they'd never be able to catch the leaders. Ahead of the Mitsubishi was Eriksson's Subaru. He dropped to 3rd, his challenge fading.
Carlos has been driving very well today, Colin as well, so I will try. 26 seconds is not impossible.
McRae had a so-so day. He led the rally until 2 stages from the end of the second leg. Sainz, though, took the lead on stage 17, then extended it on the last stage of the day. 12 seconds separated the Ford and the Subaru at the end of day 2.
Colin, myself, Tommy or Kenneth. I think everything can happen tomorrow.
Day 3's 6 stages would decide the rally.
Ahí va. Calenta. La Santi izquierda rápidamente, unos pocos tares de tierra. Un grado más.
Uwe Little wouldn't repeat his Monte Carlo result. His rally ended in a tree.
Plus lang. In 3 minus.
Schwartz finished a disappointing 6th. Thomas Rodstrom, competing on his home event, finished 5th. McRae taken the lead again, but it wouldn't last.
5 right plus light. Into 6 left.
Frustrated?
Yeah, a little, yeah. It's to go from 1st to 4th, bad news.
Tommy Mäkinen was also trying a little too hard.
Oikein täys.
For sure, we were trying at least 150%, and it was a bit too much on the one place.
Almost unnoticed amidst all the excitement, halfway through the final day, Kenneth Eriksson had been fastest on 3 stages and led. Tyre choice was still concerning Carlos Sainz, and he looked happy enough with 2nd place.
Well, I'm trying my best. I cannot do better. You know, we have done a couple of mistakes today on the tyre choice, and that has cost some seconds. Maybe still I'm missing some experience.
So a delighted Kenneth Eriksson could take his first win of the year.
Very fantastic for me, for the team as well, and of course also for Pirelli. I mean, really winning the first time since 1975. They have done a lot of development with the tires, the starts, everything worked perfectly. Very, very happy.
It had been a terrific drive by Eriksson to reward Subaru with their 2nd win from 2 starts. It was a narrow win, but it was enough. Mäkinen, meanwhile, had held off the challenge from McRae to finish 3rd, with confirmation of Radstrom and Schwartz rounding off the top 6. In the Drivers' Championship, after 2 rounds, Sainz now led from Liati and Eriksson, but just by 2 points. In the Manufacturers' Championship, those 2 wins from 2 starts meant that Subaru led from Ford. From snow to dust, and the longest, toughest event in the calendar, Kenya's Safari Rally.
Africa, Black Continent, and the wonderful people, the roads, incredible. You've never seen such rough, dusty, smooth roads in the whole of this world. And that's where the Safari Rally comes and takes place, and that's where we're going to be competing.
His local knowledge helped Ian Duncan lead the rally after the first competitive section. That section, though, also saw the first problem. Kenneth Eriksson hit a rock and lurched through the stage like a crab.
And it was a big stone, or 2 big stones on the road, probably from Carlos. And I had to go over one of them, which one, and I took the right one, and it took one of the lower arm, or the hub, so it knocked the bolt out from the hub, you see, so I lost the wheel there.
Kenneth and Staffan Parmander had done their part in just getting to the service area. It was now the mechanics' turn, but it was no good. They were out. Sainz was another driver who also hit problems on that first section.
Tell me the animals, please. Tell me the animals.
That collision with an animal, possibly a gazelle, had taken a wheel off.
Te lo dije.
Carlos, está apretado. Si no funciona la pistola, la apreté, la reapreté. Todo lo que pude y más. Todo lo que pude y más, porque le di más retoque. Helicopter, we lost the wheel. The wheel nuts are broken, so we cannot continue. That's the end of the rally for us.
Sainz, like Eriksson, began his long journey home. Mäkinen had lost a little time on the first section, but made up for it on the second and took the lead. On the third section, though, Schwartz caught Mäkinen and led an event for the first time this year. Colin McRae hasn't much experience of the Safari. He was playing a waiting game. Mäkinen's teammate on his first rally of the year was Richard Burns.
50. Fast left. 50. Turn K-right on bump.
Ian Duncan had backed off after that first section. He was 3rd last year in the same car and was hoping for better in '97. A string of problems meant that Mäkinen and Seppo Harjana weren't happy men.
We had just bunked 2-3 kilometers before the end, and that's all. I think it's quite important to go quite slowly, because still it's a long way to go.
As the first day drew to a close, McRae was relieved to be in 3rd place. Burns was 2nd, although the day wasn't without its problems for him. He started this section without a clutch. Happily, he reached service and the clutch was changed. Schwartz, though, led the rally at the end of leg 1.
Quite a good day. I mean, we didn't have any problems today. The car was working very, very well. Apart from one shock absorber, everything was perfect.
Day 2. Schwartz began the day in the lead, but problems weren't far away.
With the rear shock, right hand side.
After 60 kilometers, we had a shock absorber broken on the rear, which pulled out in one go, and then almost the wheel fall off, so we have to stop and have to change it.
Mäkinen too had his fair share of problems, a string of punctures costing time. Eventually, mechanical damage caused by those punctures meant retirement. Colin McRae had a great morning and had grabbed the lead, but on the third section of the day, he and Nicky Grist had a heart-stopping moment. The collision with that wall of stones had caused quite bad damage to the front of the car.
I thought it was finished. I mean, the car was right up in the air, and I thought it would have taken the whole front off. Luckily, it's damaged one corner very badly, and the front of the car's not too bad.
For Richard Burns, dust was the problem. He was forced to a standstill several times on the second section. Duncan, meanwhile, was waiting for the pair ahead to break something. On a day of bizarre incidents, again, it was Schwartz's turn.
Take your shoe belt out.
What do you want?
Take your shoe belt out. Take it out.
We have broken the throttle cable, and Armin has a very good idea. He borrowed my shoes, and now it's working. But we did 30 kilometers like that on the stage, so not the best way to do it.
His steady, cautious drive meant that Ian Duncan was third at the end of the day, the car perhaps feeling its age.
What are they working on now?
Changing everything, I hope. We need a new car.
Burns had been fastest on the day's last section. He was second, using helpful advice from his helicopter at times.
50 in middle, Richard. Flat right slow, keep middle.
McRae, though, could breathe a sigh of relief. Despite the collision with the wall, he led the rally.
I think the lead's probably about 6 minutes now, so 6 minutes in Safari is probably 6 seconds in any other event. So it's not an awful lot. We still need to be very careful.
And so to the third and final day. Colin McRae started it running first on the road.
Fast bump. Straight, 850.
Colin and Nicky Grist must have thought they'd used up all their bad luck on day two. Wrong.
I mean, we're lucky to be here, really. After about 85, 86 kilometres into the section, the alternator failed. Then we had to pull the fans out, then the engine started to run hot, and then it started misfiring, then we had to put the fan in, and then we had to do something else, and then the suspension went.
French privateer Frederick Dorr would finish in 6th place. But the highest placed privately run car was the Toyota of Jonathan Toroitich, 5th. Schwartz came home 4th, despite all the scares. But exactly the same as last year, 3rd place was Ian Duncan's reward.
Medium right over brow. Just a long bad right.
Richard Burns and Robert Reid finished 2nd, a brilliant result, and one he and the team were delighted with.
It's my best result in a World Championship, in a full World Championship rally, and 2 British drivers, 1st and 2nd, so I'm very happy.
That allowed the new team of Colin McRae and Nicky Grist to taste victory for the first time.
Now into 2 left.
To the applause of their mechanics, they'd taken Subaru's 3rd victory of the year.
Relieved that it's all over. It's a long event, this, and the last stage just seemed to go on and on forever, so I'm happy that it's all over.
It looked to be a Subaru domination, 3 wins from 3 starts. 7 minutes the gap between first and second, with Duncan, Schwartz, Toroitich and Dorr rounding off the top 6. There was now also a new leader in the Manufacturers' Championship after that 3rd round. Colin McRae had just a 1-point lead over Sainz, with Liati and Ericsson tied for 3rd place. No change though in the Manufacturers' leaderboard. Subaru still led. And so to round 4, back to Europe and the Rally of Portugal. No prizes for guessing that it's an event popular with spectators. 80,000 packed into stage 1. If you think it looks bad from outside the car, share a ride with Nicky Grist and Colin McRae and see if you share their opinion.
Unbelievable, look at it, yeah. Into long 6 right. Now this is crazy. 30k, long 3 right minus. 6 left. Look at 300.
Can't even see the finish board. That should never have been allowed to run.
In the end, stage 1 was cancelled, but it wasn't the behaviour of the spectators which caused the cancellation.
Some cable stuck to the wheel and rolling there, and break the brake pipe, and on the start of the stage I felt there's no brakes at all.
McRae restarted superbly. Fastest on stage 2, he took the lead despite this spin. Carlos Sainz was second after that stage, although his rally didn't last much longer.
Well, 2 kilometers to the end of stage number 3, big noise suddenly in the transmission and car stopped. No more drive, and I think something break in the center diff or something break in the gearbox, or big explosion.
The early leader, Colin McRae, soon joined Sainz, but his retirement was caused by electrical failure.
Into 6 right and care 3 left and tight.
Not dead. Just tell him to stop. All the ignition powers, everything on it just won't run.
Nick to service, come in. No push.
The cause of the problem was a mystery. No electrics, but they had ignition. They needed a push out of the stage and had to walk back to service.
Colin, what happened?
This electrical problem, whatever it was, just completely stopped the engine now.
How far into the stage?
About a key from the end.
And the engine just died, or what?
It stopped, wouldn't start again.
Tommy Mäkinen was desperate to win his first event of the year, so the 2 retirements were good news. Kenneth Ericsson was then left as the sole surviving Subaru driver, and he was trying to forget the disappointment of Safari. This was Freddie Leutz's first rally since the string of disappointments in Monte Carlo. But for his teammate Marcus Gronholm, there was retirement in spectacular fashion. Richard Burns was again Mäkinen's teammate, inspired by that superb 2nd place in Kenya. While Sainz's teammate once again was the consistent Schwartz. Consistent at finding problems, that is.
Well, so far has been quite all right. On the last stage we just slipped over a bank and lost a minute there because we couldn't get back. Otherwise it was fine.
At the end of the day, the leading local driver was Rui Madeira in 5th place in his Subaru. Richard Burns was 4th in the Mitsubishi Charisma. Leix in the old Toyota Celica was 3rd. Kenneth Ericsson and Staffan Pamander were embroiled in a 2-way scrap for the lead. But the leader was Tommy Mäkinen, the Mäkinen of old. Day turned to night, and with the daylight went Mäkinen's confidence. He led until the 2 night stages, when his challenge faded. And so it was Kenneth Ericsson and Staffan Pamander who led the rally at the end of the day. It had been a brilliant drive.
I had a good run so far, and leading, I'm very pleased with my performance and also for the team as well.
Day 2 and a daylight start meant Kenneth Ericsson wasn't so quick. The first 3 stages of the day were exact repeats of the last 3 of day 1, but Ericsson couldn't repeat his feat of the previous day.
Till ansin höger 2 plus. Till vänster 3. I höger 4.
Mäkinen's confidence had returned. He was on a charge and made up nearly all of the lost time. At the next service area, it was obvious Ericsson was under pressure.
I've been trying my best, but Tom has been a bit faster, so he's now 1 second behind me, so it's a very close fight.
Of course, going flat out, but maybe still I could go a bit faster, but of course it makes more risk as well.
For Mitsubishi, Tommy Mäkinen provided the silver lining, Richard Burns the cloud.
Towards the end of the stage, we lost first, second and third. And then just on the short piece of road section here, 4th, 5th and 6th were stripped as well, so we can't go anywhere.
Rui Madeira got up to 4th place as a result of Burns' retirement, but an accident lost him over 30 minutes. Schwartz had a few problems caused by visibility, but otherwise was more or less okay. He was 4th. Loix in the Celica had a trouble-free day. He seemed to be enjoying himself in 3rd place.
100, rechts 125 af vol. En vrijnevel links voor 75.
There was still a 2-way fight for the lead, but Ericsson had been losing time all day. Mäkinen was pulling away, but the contest would be decided by an unlikely ally, Ericsson's car.
The engine just stopped for some funny reason, we really don't know yet, but I realized like maybe 500 meters before that something went wrong, and then it was just completely dead. I couldn't restart it, and we really tried very hard with all the options we could think about, but it was impossible to start the engine.
Freddie Loix and Sven Smeets then gratefully inherited 2nd place. The pressure was now off Mäkinen. Fastest on every one of the day's 9 stages, he'd take a massive lead into the 3rd and final day. 3 1/4 minutes, in fact, Tommy's lead. Amazingly, the top 6 contained 3 privateers. Masao Kamioka was 6th in the Subaru. Monaco-based Jean-Pierre Richelmy was 5th in an old Escort Cosworth. But the new Escort World Rally car of Gregoire de Mévius was 4th. The works car of Schwartz was 1 place higher, 3rd, heading for his first podium finish of the year. With de Mévius, Loix was the 2nd Belgian in the top 5.
It was quite difficult with all the good drivers in the rally. I think I had no chance to finish 2nd, but okay, they had some problems and we did some good stage times, and now we are 2nd and I'm quite happy.
But all the retirements meant that the pressure was off Tommy Mäkinen. He took his first win of the year.
It's really what we need. It's very good for our team. We really need, I need it, and everybody needs it.
Equally as important, perhaps, the Subaru stranglehold had been broken. 4 minutes the winning margin from Loix, Schwartz, de Mévius, Richelmy and Kamioka. 4 events gone, and the Drivers' Championship had its 4th leader. Mäkinen now led by 5 points from McRae, with Sainz, Schwartz, Liati and Ericsson rounding off that top 6. Subaru still led the manufacturers' table, though. Remaining in Europe and the all-tarmac rally of Catalunya in Spain, round 5. The fiercely loyal local spectators only had eyes for one man, Carlos Sainz. He and Luis Moya, though, had a disappointing start. Rear brake problems meant they were 6th after the first few stages. Their teammates, Armin Schwartz and Denis Girardet, were the only men to finish all 4 rounds of the championship so far. The same problems meant they were 8th.
Falling with the brakes, the car is over braking from the rear, so it's difficult to make a late break all the time, and I'm not very confident.
But the biggest problem to the leaders came from the Formula 2 Peugeot 306s. Francois Delacour was soon up to second place, while his teammate Gilles Panizzi led the rally. The two cars had been on the pace right from the start. It seemed the only ones not surprised were the drivers.
How come you're so fast, so quick?
Yeah, but you know, it's all the time the same story. We know, but everybody, nobody was speaking about also Gilles Panizzi, because nobody knows Gilles, and Gilles is a very good driver because now he's leading the rally.
Colin McRae won the rally last year, and he was out to do so again, putting the disappointment of retirement in Portugal behind him. Piero Liati had a thrilling last-day battle last year with McRae, which ended with him in second place. After the Monte Carlo rally, his confidence and that of Fabrizio Pons was sky high. Tommy Mäkinen has never won on tarmac and was out to prove a Finn could do it. Peugeot's perfect start, though, ended in the middle of the afternoon. Panizzi punctured on stage 6, losing 2.5 minutes, which dropped him to 9th place. In 5th place, cheered on by the faithful but frustrated, was Carlos Sainz.
Para derecha, 43, se tira poco por dentro. Sassar, para izquierda caliente, se tira poco y mucho ras. Sassar, para derecha, 43, se tira y se abre.
4th at the end of day 1 were Angelo and Barbara Medeghini in their privately entered Subaru. Mäkinen was 3rd, just 12 seconds separating those top 3 cars, though. But the day ended in an exact repeat of last year's final day. Liati was 2nd. But McRae led the rally, just 1 second his advantage.
I think we're so evenly matched, we've just got to do our best, and it's the person that makes the mistake that's going to lose.
Day 2 stages were all in the area around Tarragona. The first stage was the longest of the day. McRae lost 1 second to Liati, and so the lead was shared. Schwartz's problems continued meanwhile. He was about to retire for the first time this year.
Well, we had a very, very strange car halfway through the first stage. It was more and more understeering, and all of a sudden it started very badly to steam in the car and something like burning. And we got out of the stage. I couldn't see what it was, and the following stage we broke something on the transmission.
It was an amazing battle between the two Subarus. Liati lost a little ground over the next 2 stages, taking the pressure off McRae, who now led once again.
Into 6 left minus 100. 6 left minus cut 250.
But Tommy Mäkinen had been fastest on that long opening stage and was now just 7 seconds behind the Subarus.
Oikea 2 pitkä vasen nopea, heti oikea nopea plus sumppuun.
With Schwartz out, it was now Sainz's turn to have problems. In his case, it was transmission. And also in his case, it was a complete mystery.
We broke exhaust, and then the flames destroyed the prop shaft.
The rally leader was the next to have problems.
Stop and change away. 33 left, tightens long.
The damage caused by that puncture was clear, but the time lost was the biggest worry.
The puncture very near the start, and we drove slowly to try and let the ME work. But it didn't work for whatever reason, we don't know, and we had to stop and change.
Gilles Panizzi was now 3rd thanks to McRae's puncture, the same problem which had cost him the lead on day 1. Liati, though, still shared the lead. But it was now with Tommy Mäkinen. Had it not been for one small error, he'd have led on his own.
Aukeaa. Vasen täys 3.
So what is going to be the deciding factor?
Going flat out tomorrow as fast as possible.
I think tomorrow morning is the maximum attack.
And so day 3's 5 stages would decide the rally. Mäkinen was running first on the road. Liati was next. but he lost 3 seconds on the first stage and 6 on the next. So Mäkinen now led by 9 seconds with just 3 stages remaining.
I'm very happy at the moment for the performance of car and mine. It's been very good.
The tire is very hot, and the problem is this is not good feeling for me.
His string of problems meant that the local hero, Sainz, finished out of the points. Also outside the points, Uwe Nittel, finishing 8th, not helped by a spin. That allowed Rui Madeira to finish 6th in the Subaru. Angelo Medeghini and his wife Barbara co-driving could finish 5th, a superb result. McRae was a frustrated 4th. Francois Delacour had retired meanwhile after being pushed out of Parc Fermé. That left Panizzi, the sole surviving Peugeot driver, in 3rd place. And so to the final stage, just 4 seconds between Mäkinen and Liati.
Ja helppo vasen aukeaa 120.
Tommy, exactly the same time at the halfway point. Do you think it's enough to have won?
Yeah, I think it should be. We never know.
Liati needed to take 5 seconds off Mäkinen if he was to win.
Destra 3 meno e sinistra 2.
He didn't.
Maximum attack, but it's not possible.
Tommy's tyres went off on the second half. How were your tyres?
The same for me, the same.
22.43, it's not enough, Piero. What a rally it's been, though. Very, very close.
Yes.
Congratulations, Tommy, you did it.
Thank you. I'm so happy. It was one of the most important events. I won my first proper tarmac event, and it's really something. It's like last year World Championship title. It's about a similar feeling at the moment.
Not only Mäkinen's, but Mitsubishi's first ever win on a tarmac event. 7 seconds the gap between first and second, with Panizzi, McRae, Medeghini and Madeira rounding off the top 6. 5 rounds gone and the Drivers' Championship looked slightly different. Mäkinen still led, but his win meant that he opened up a 12-point lead over Liati and McRae, who were now tied in second place. No surprise in the manufacturers' table. Round 6 then, 3 weeks later, and another tarmac event on the island of Corsica. Mäkinen was determined to make it 3 wins in a row, but could only manage 6th fastest on the first stage. McRae had other ideas. He was fastest on stage 1 and took the lead.
Into 4 left plus opens, into 4 right minus line, into 2 left plus.
But the Peugeots were back. After stage 2, Panizzi led. Delacour, meanwhile, was second, 6 seconds behind his teammate. Extensive testing before the rally meant that Ford were a changed team. Sainz was a happy man once again.
Car is working better, so we are much happier, and at least we are in the fight for a rally, which is the most important thing.
So nearly the winner in Spain, Liati was 4th fastest on stage 1. Armin Schwartz had a new co-driver for the event, Phil Mills, but it didn't stop his problems.
3, left 3 to 4 minus.
We broke a drive shaft in the last stage under braking, and we went up a bank, and we ripped the front bumper off.
Uwe Nittel also clouted the scenery. At the end of the day, Mäkinen was 6th, 38 seconds separated the top six. Liati was in 5th place. Subaru teammate McRae was 4th. Despite 3 fastest stage times, Sainz was 3rd, but the talk at the next service area was the threat posed by the F2 cars.
It's the same problem as we had in Catalunya. The F2 cars are far quicker.
Well done for Peugeot, and I think somebody has to rethink in the regulations, in my opinion.
Francois Delacour and Daniel Grataloup were 2nd. But Gilles and Hervé Panizzi led by 6 seconds, so a Peugeot 1-2 was a real possibility.
So on the last stage it was humid on the descent, and I was going fast and much faster than Carlos says. And now I am 5 seconds behind. Gilles has done a fantastic day today.
Day 2 began wet. The longest stage of the rally started the day, and tyre choice was what dominated almost every conversation.
Peugeot, they have one car on the slick tires and the other one on the rain tires. Carlos live on the rain tires, and the other thing they will live on the dry tires.
Even the normally calm Subaru team were rattled. Panizzi was on dry tyres, but the gamble didn't pay off. He lost 46 seconds, handing the lead to his teammate Delacour on rain tyres. Sainz, also on rain tyres, was even quicker, climbing to 2nd place. McRae, though, was on dry tyres and lost 45 seconds.
30. Care, 3 left minus tightens.
We took the wrong tyre. We took a more or less dry tyre, and it was very wet for the first half of the stage.
Mäkinen chose the correct tyres for the stage, but they didn't help when this happened.
Suddenly 2 cows jumped to the road, and there was no time to even braking at all. I was just lift throttle and we hit straight to the other cow, and from there straight to the wall, and we dropped down about 30-40 meters quite far to the river.
So Mäkinen and Seppo Harjanne were out in one of the biggest accidents for years. But day 2 had yet more problems in store for the unlucky Schwartz and Phil Mills.
Left 3 to 4 minus.
Piero Liati was 5th, but appeared to have lost interest.
Per sinistra lunga chiude 4, in destra 2+.
It was a different story with McRae, however. He was quickest on 4 of the day's 6 stages. Panizzi, cursing his tyre choice, was 3rd. Ford's development work had obviously paid off. Sainz shared the lead at the end of day 2.
Well, I think the rally is still very open, you know. Panizzi is 9 seconds. Colin is also coming very quick. It's only 19 seconds. So it is easy to be first or to be 4th.
It was Delacour who shared that lead with Sainz, although he didn't seem too bothered by the exalted company.
How does it feel to be absolutely level with Carlos Sainz going into the final day?
It's not a problem for me. Carlos Sainz is not the big chief.
Day 3, 6 final stages, around 140 kilometres. Like day 1, it was dry and fine. McRae, one of 4 drivers now fighting for victory. Gilles Panizzi was quickest on the day's 2nd stage, closing the gap on his teammates. Delacour, though, had been fastest on the 1st stage of the day, but the top 4 places are now closing up. Sainz edged past Delacour on the second stage, leading once again.
Tierra para izquierda rápido, corta, 2. Rasante en derecha para 1, frenando, izquierda para en tercera, se cierra para 1.
Tire choice will be very important if the weather is becoming a little bit crazy.
Yet another Formula 2 car, Philippe Bugalski's Renault Megane, ended the rally in 6th place. Liati looked to have settled for 5th, content to let the battle ahead unfold.
Meno. E destra 2 più lunga e sinistra 1 meno.
Going into the last stage, tyre choice again looked to be crucial.
We've got people all over the place in the stage and they're just giving us weather reports, so it's just down to picking the right tyre.
The important thing is, you know, do not make a mistake with the tires and have the correct tire now.
Francois Delacour spun on that last stage, so losing any chance of victory. So did Panizzi, so it was now a 2-horse race.
Into 6 right tightens, to 5 right plus line, and 5 left plus. 50, 6 left, 50, 3 right plus, and opens.
Colin McRae and Nicky Grist flew through the stage, men on a mission.
Okay, 5 left plus, tightens, don't cut. 50, okay, 25 or 26.
Sainz and Luis Moya started the last stage 7 seconds ahead of McRae. Surely the gap was too great to make up.
2, rasante izquierda para esa Guanamá, se abre.
Yeah, no, it's all in tires, depending on the tire choice.
But no, McRae had done it. An unbelievable 15 seconds faster than Sainz.
You've driven as hard as you could?
I couldn't go any quicker, probably harder than I could drive.
McRae's second win of the year then, thanks to that stunning drive on the last stage. 8 seconds the winning margin from Sainz, Panizzi, Delacour, Liati and Bugalski. No points from Corsica for Mäkinen then, but he still led the drivers' table by just 2 points from McRae. Liati and Sainz now shared 3rd place. In the Manufacturers' Championship, Subaru still led.